So this is a roughly a half-hour yoga class, and if you're setting up for your yoga class at home, you might need some things nearby. So we'll probably be using a mat or a fold-up blanket to sit on. If you have a shawl or something just to keep you warm when you're lying down in Shavasana, that's a good idea. You might need a yoga mat, maybe you won't. And it might be nice to make a little area that's kind of nice for you to be in, whether that just is a corner of a room or maybe you've got a whole room that you can make into your little yoga room for a little while. So we're going to start by lying in this position called Shavasana. And this is a position that we can use any time during the session. If you feel a bit tired or you feel like you need a little bit of a rest, you just lie in this position called Shavasana. This is lying on your back with your arms by your sides, a little bit away from the body. The palms are facing up, or they might turn slightly inwards depending on what's happening in your shoulders. It's good to give your legs a little bit of a shake, just sort of move the upper body, and then just allow your body, if you can, to sink into the floor. Let it become really, really heavy. I like to close your eyes or have your eyes open, whatever feels comfortable for you. And in this position, we can begin to notice any sensations in the body, whether they be strong sensations or light ones. So we're thinking about low-level pain, discomfort, or a sense of just feeling kind of free and very relaxed. And these sensations may come and go throughout the time you're lying in this position. So for now, we're just going to spend about a minute noticing the sensations, and then perhaps, if it feels available to you, noticing your breath. After a little while, you may get a sense of your big body becoming very heavy, like it's just sinking into the floor. Or perhaps even that the floor is moving up to meet your body, and your body and the floor are merging. Feel free to stay here and continue with this breath awareness and body awareness sensation, or you can begin to make your breaths a little bit deeper. Noticing as you do that the belly rises. Sometimes it's nice to pop our hands on our belly, thumbs just touching the lower ribs, and the palms of the hands on the belly. And inhale, you can even activate your abdominal muscles slightly and push the belly up. So the belly becomes quite rounded on the inhalation. And then exhale, gently draw it back down towards the front of the spine. This is called yogic breathing. We do this as yoga students to breathe a little bit slower, a little bit deeper, just gradually, until eventually you feel the breath moving in and out of the Feel the rib cage moving, the diaphragm moving up and down, the belly moving up and down. This can be very calming and centering practice. So we won't do it for too long here because we haven't got much time, but if you'd like to try this, it's nice to spend maybe 10 to 15 minutes, somewhere where you're warm and somewhere where you're comfortable, just focusing on yogic breath. And when we finish, we return to Shavasana, observing any sensations in the body, acknowledging any sensations in the body, like to, we're going to make our way to the seated position. And we start off in the position called Parambriksthiti, which is with the legs straight, and pull the flesh away from the sit bones, and this helps to tilt your pelvis forward. When we sit like this, we tend to go into a position like this. The back is rounded, the lower back's a little bit rounded. But if we take the flesh away from the sit bones, it allows the pelvis to tilt forward and the spine to find its natural curve. And we put our hands back like this just to support the spine. This position is called Parambriksthiti. Eyes gently closed, but noticing again any activities in the body, noticing any sensations in the body. Into a position called Purnatutali, which is the full butterfly. Placing the soles of the feet together. If you can reach, you can overlap or interlace your fingers around your toes. You can walk your bottom towards your heels or pull your heels in towards your bottom. This is just so you can find a comfortable place for your body. You can apply some pressure if you can reach your toes, apply some pressure towards the body, and that enables the chest to push out a little bit and lengthen into the spine. Now if you can't reach your feet, your toes, that's fine. You can hold on to your insteps, you can hold on to your ankles, or if that's not comfortable for you, you can even place your hands behind your back. So it's more important in this practice to have your spine in its alignment rather than reaching forward and having the back in a rounded position. So find the position that's comfortable for you. Then we're just going to begin to bounce the knees up and down. If this isn't a sensation that feels right for your body, you can just push your knees towards the floor and let them come back up. Push them towards the floor and let them come back up. Eyes gently closed if that's comfortable for you. Or if you don't like to close your eyes, you can have them open, but try to just hold your gaze on the floor or perhaps the front of your yoga mat or somewhere where you won't be easily distracted. In this position, doing this practice, it's more beneficial and it activates and stimulates the pranic body, which is our energy body, if we can just take our awareness to what we're doing. So this practice is an anti-rheumatic Pawan Muktasana, which means it's an anti-rheumatic practice for stimulating the energy in the hip joints. The hip joints are very big joints. Also keeping the hip joints healthy, keeping the synovial fluid healthy, stimulating tendons, ligaments, the joint capsule, the muscles. So we've got a lot to keep our awareness on when we're doing this practice. It also helps to relieve tension in the lower back. Bring the legs together and straighten the legs. Give them a little tap on the floor. So once again, I'm only doing these exercises for probably not as long as you would do them if you're doing them in your own practice, because I'm trying to squeeze quite a few into half an hour. So if you can remember these and do them at home, you can spend a little bit longer doing them. So we're going to move from here to a position called Majariasana, the cat posture. These are just nice basic postures that we're doing in this little class. In Majariasana, it's a good idea to have the hands in line with the shoulders, to have the fingers evenly splayed, have some pressure put on the fingertips, the bridge part of the hands, which is this part, and the heels of the hands. So we haven't got all the pressure on the heels of our hands. And in yoga, it's all about balance. So we're trying to get the balance from the right side of the body and the left side of the body to be equal, and also from the front of the body and the back of the body. We're going to take our awareness to our spine. So thinking about the spine from the base of the skull all the way down past the sacrum, which is here, and through to the coccyx. See if you can visualize the spine, or just see it in a way that feels something that's that you can do, something that a way that you can visualize the spine anyway. We're going to bring the spine up like this, tuck the head under and tuck the bottom under, so you can see we're really stretching through the whole of the back. And we're going to reverse that. Take the belly towards the floor and gradually take the head back as far as you feel comfortable, and we're stretching through the whole front of the body, including the front of the spine. Now if this feels okay for you, you can continue and add some breathing. So we exhale as we go into this position. Inhale as we bring the head up. This can be a very energizing practice, stimulating and activating the prana along the spine. If you're doing this in your own practice and not watching this little video, you can go as fast or as slow as you like with this practice. It's a very nice practice to do, to be able to connect the breath and the body and the breath. So we come back to the central position, tuck the toes under, and then take some pressure onto your feet, take the pressure off the knees, and begin to straighten your legs or get them as straight as you can. And you can push back, attempting to get the heels as close to the floor as possible. And you can bring the knees back down. This is Sumuru, the mountain pose. So we can exhale as we push back. Inhale as we come down. So you'll probably notice that this is quite a big stretch for the calf muscles and the hamstrings. Beneficial to the lower back as well. It helps build some strength in the arms. Just make sure you've got those points of contact that we spoke about at the start of Manjari-asana. The fingertips, the bridge of the hands and the heels of the hands, all pushing into the mat. So there's not too much pressure on the wrists and the heels of the hands. We'll make that the last one. Bring the toes together and cross one big toe over the other. Then lowering your bottom as close as you can to your heels. Lowering the torso over the legs. The knees can be apart or together. We're going to go into a position called Shashankasana, pose of the child. Find your position of comfort. If your head can't reach the mat, that's fine. You can make one fist or two fists and rest your head on your fists, or if you've got your folded up blanket or your prop handy, you can pop your head on there, make it very comfortable for yourself. The arms can stay active, gripping onto the yoga mat and kind of pulling back with your body. So this can be an active Shashankasana or pose of the child, or you can have your arms next to your body, the palms facing up. This is a restorative pose. So just stay in that pose while I come out of it. So this is a restorative pose that helps the body to restore its energy after we've been doing some yoga. So Shashankasana is a really good pose to get into anytime you feel that you might need a rest. So Shavasana, the first one we did, lying on our back, or Shashankasana, this pose. Lovely restful poses. So when it's time to come out of it, we come out of this pose quite slowly. So we're going to come out with the back curved, the head still low, because you'll come from a slightly inverted pose. We don't want to come up too fast. Straightening the back slowly and lastly raising the head. And you find yourself in this position called Vajrasana, which is with the knees and legs together, palms on the lower part of the thighs with the fingers pointing towards the knees. And just making the adjustments to your spine. You might find you're still a little bit like this. Let's try to find the natural curve of the spine, head and spine in alignment. Shoulders are lowered, so they're not hunched up around the ears. Just take a couple of breaths in this position. Nice deep breaths. Okay, so our bodies are warmed up a little bit. So we're going to go into 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar, sun salutations, and I'll talk you through that step by step. So we come to a standing position, coming to the front of the mat, and finding the balance again. Finding balance from the soles of your feet, moving your awareness up your legs and into your body, to your torso, shoulders, arms, hands. You might need to move your legs a little bit to find this balance. And sometimes finding balance takes a little while. If you can't get that idea right now, that's fine. We're just trying to attempt to find some balance in the body. And then come to stillness. Activate your abdominal muscles. So that doesn't mean we're drawing the belly right in. It just means we're going from a position of looseness around the belly to activation. So we're contracting those muscles. You might feel a contraction in your pelvic floor as well. And this just helps keep this area strong because we're going to be doing some forward bending and some very gentle backward bends. So we start off in position 1. We're going to inhale, bring the arms up, over the head, and the palms touch. This is a way to find our balance, right and left palms touching. Then hold the inhalation as we stop at the top of the head, we stop at the eyebrow center, and we stop at the heart center, and then we can exhale. Don't worry about too much about the breathing if you're not getting it, it's fine. Inhale, we go back, and exhale, we're going to go down. You can have straight knees, bent knees or soft knees, whatever feels comfortable for you. So we're in an exhalation here. We're going to inhale as we step back with the left foot. Let the knee touch the floor and then untuck the toes. You can take your hands away and go into a nice lunge if you want to. And this is a gentle backward bend as well. Or you can stay like this. This is an inhale. So we can take a fresh lot of air in while we're in this position, completely filling the lungs. Then we go to an exhale, we place the hands back down, tuck the toes under and step back with the right foot. We're in downward facing dog. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Exhale. Now we hold the exhalation as we bring the knees to the floor, forearms to the floor, chin and chest to the floor, and then we inhale as we go into the cobra. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhale, we're going to take one big step forward, or lots of little steps if you can't do one big step, in between the hands. We're back to this position. Inhale, taking lots of air into the lungs. Exhale, tuck the toes under, step forward. This is a good spot to exhale because we're squashing the lungs, expelling the air from the lungs. Bend the knees, bring the arms up and push into the floor with the soles of the feet as you inhale and come up into another gentle backward bend. Stop at the top of the head, eyebrow center, heart center, exhaling down. So that's half a round, and it might seem like a lot if you haven't done it before, but the more you do it, the more you'll get the hang of it. It becomes a really energizing practice. Okay, so we'll do another, that was half a round, we'll do another half and then another full round. So inhale, exhale at the heart center. Inhale back and exhale forward. Inhale, step back with the right foot this time, knee to the floor, untuck the toes. Exhale, we're coming back into downward dog. We're holding the exhalation, knees to the floor, forearms to the floor, chin and chest to the floor. Just do the best you can if you can't make that. Inhale, exhale back to downward dog. Inhale, big step forward with the left foot. Exhale, stepping forward with the right foot. Bending the knees. Inhale, coming up. Top of the head, eyebrow center, heart center, exhale. And we'll do one more round. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale, right foot back. Hold the exhale, knees, chin and chest to the floor. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, right foot forward. Exhale, left foot forward. Bending the knees, inhale. Top of the head, eyebrow center, heart center, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Right foot back this time on the inhalation. Exhale. Left foot back. Hold the exhale. Knees, chin and chest to the floor. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, left foot forward. Exhale, right foot forward. Bending the knees. Inhale. Hold the inhalation, top of the head, eyebrow center, heart center, and down. And straight away we lie down in Shavasana because we've done a lot of movement with the body. And Shavasana is the position that we get into to check into the body, seeing how it feels after we've done 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar, salute to the sun. So first of all, we're checking into our energy body. So energy sensations can be experienced as warmth in the body or coolness, or sometimes like a sensation of some movement in the body that doesn't feel quite physical. The energy sensations are usually felt, if we're going to feel them, straight after a practice. So we can check into our energy body. It's okay if you don't feel anything. Then considering the physical body, thinking about any parts that maybe have been overstretched or overused, or areas where you're experiencing some freedom in the body, and observing the breath and allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm. Go into one last pose, which is a twist. That's quite a nice twist, and we can do it lying down. We're going to interlace our fingers under our heads. Make any adjustments that you might need to make. When I move my arms from this position and interlace my fingers under my heads, I feel like my shoulders have creeping up towards my ears, so I need to kind of lower mine. So just little things like that that you might begin to notice with your body when you're practicing yoga. Notice also whether the right arm and the left arm are in a similar position. You might find one is off the floor and one's resting on the floor. And if we just acknowledge these little differences in our body, we get to know our body a little bit better. We're going to bend the knees. This is where it's good to have a yoga mat. You can actually grip the yoga mat a little bit with the feet and bring your feet up as close to your buttocks as possible. This is a starting position for the twist. I'm going to inhale here. And then exhale, we're imagining that the legs are glued together. We're taking the knees to the right. So my left foot is going off the mat now. I want to turn my head to look at my left elbow. It's okay if the knees don't go all the way to the floor. And if you have your folded up blanket or your prop handy, you can place it under your knees if you feel that you don't want your knees hovering in midair. Now this is a static posture, so we can hold this for as long as we feel comfortable. You can see how the spine is in a twisted position now. And in twists in yoga, we tend to think of them as wringing out toxins. Wringing out toxins from the spine, wringing out toxins from the body. So in this position, you might like to consider any toxins that you want to wring out of your body or your life. Maybe unpleasant thoughts towards yourself or other people. Maybe something physical. Inhale, bring the knees up. And exhale, go to the other side. Turning the head to the right this time, making any little micro adjustments you might need to make, and noticing how different one side is to the other, or the similarities from one side to the other. Now, if you're doing this practice in your own time, feel free to hold this pose for as long as you feel comfortable. Sometimes it's nice to hold poses for longer than a minute. When we hold poses like this for longer than a minute, it becomes almost like a yin practice. We work on the yin tissues, which are ligaments, tendons, joint capsules. Inhale and bring the knees up. And then exhale, we'll go back to Shavasana. This is our checking in time. Noticing any sensations, particularly in the spine. Once again, those energy sensations might be apparent first of all, especially in the spine after a twist. You might notice a warmth in a particular part of the spine, or a coolness, or a sensation of release in the spine somewhere. Letting the body just become heavy, giving the body permission to become heavy. And noticing if there's tension in any parts of your body that you may not really consider to hold tension, like the palms of your hands, or the area in between the eyebrows, your face. Where you need to get your blanket, your little prop, because we're going to come to a seated position just for a little bit of breath awareness to finish the session. You can sit on your prop, and if you take your bottom off the floor, that's another way of helping to tilt the pelvis forward. If we sit on a little prop and just sit on the edge of it, if the sit bone's on the edge of it, the pelvis naturally wants to tilt forward. Now, you don't have to sit with your legs crossed in this position. You can sit with your legs straight. If you've got hips that don't like having your legs crossed, your hips are sore, you can have your legs straight. Perhaps you can have one leg bent and one leg straight. Just find a position that's comfortable where you think that you can find the natural curve of the spine and the head and spine are in alignment. It's at this time that I like to get my shawl, my special blanket. So if you've got one, you might like to wrap it around yourself, pop it on your legs or something, just so you've got that bit of security, bit of extra warmth if it's a bit cold. Make any last minute adjustments. You can adopt a mudra if you want to. This particular mudra is called Gyan Mudra, where the index finger is in the crease of the thumb, and you can either rest your hands palms down on your knees or palms up. Or you can just rest your hands in any position that's comfortable. And gently close the eyes, or if you don't like having your eyes closed, you can just have your eyes looking down. And we're just going to do a very simple breath awareness practice. Noticing the breath before we begin. So noticing your breath and the flow of your breath in your nostrils. It's preferable to breathe through the nostrils, but if that's not possible and you're breathing through your mouth, you can notice your breath in your mouth as well. And we're noticing things like if there's any blockage in one nostril or another. We're noticing the flow of our breath through the nostrils, passing over the back of the throat and into the lungs. We can notice the movement of the rib cage as the air flows in and out of the lungs. And we can notice the sound of the breath. It's a very subtle sound that you might notice. So let's take 10 breaths and see if we can stay focused on some of those 10 breaths. Slowly open your eyes, move your body and release your position if you need to. Look around the room, just getting your bearings of where you are, what time of the day it is, night. Okay, thank you. Namaste.